Hey guys, it's been a while since I've shown and talked about new work. So this video is about traditional decoy carving, in this case shorebirds. Now the one in the back, this one here, is a root head by my friend Ernie Mills, and I demonstrate some carving of root heads in earlier videos on my YouTube channel, Wilson Live Sculpture, and I appreciate you following my channel. Thanks a lot for your support. I just got back from entering a competition with these shorebirds. I actually got beat, which I don't like. I got second and third, but it's okay. Competition and art is subjective. I'm going to talk about, show lots of examples with new work and describe different styles of wood carving. This is a traditional American art form. The only other original art form like decoy carving that originated in the United States. I'm actually originally from Native Americans before the United States was formed by indigenous Native Americans. But jazz music is the other art form, and that's not even visual art. So this is the only visual art form in the United States that that is traditional, that started here. And this kind of really shows the classic style of my friend Ernie Mills. And I've collected his work. Ernie is 90 years old. He lives here in Georgia, where I'm from. And it's called a root head. He finds the shape of the bill and the head and neck in one piece of wood. In this case, oak. This is white oak, and this is cedar, white cedar. And he left it natural finish. So I have a little bit different style, which I'm showing in these works, and I paint over most of my works, but I also left some of the natural wood grain. If you can look closely at some of this detail, I will show a bird here up close so you can see some better light. Now, these birds will come off. They're just a simple style. Had they come out of their base. It's a little bit dark here. I'll get around in some better light and show you more close-ups. So what I did was I painted in translucent layers of acrylics, and only over certain areas. In some areas I did more opaque, like the white areas, but you can see the wood grain really easily in the back of these birds. And this is carved in pine heart. And pine heart is a beautiful wood, so I really want to show some of that warm, orangey yellow grain, similar to Ernie Mills' work. And I think I mentioned Ernie's from Delaware. He's a traditional carver. Let me talk about that a little bit more, about different types of wood carving, and I'll show some other examples. So stay tuned in this video, and you'll see lots of examples and some current new work and happenings, which I'm got some big announcements where I'm going to shows and have some big news. So thanks a lot for subscribing and watching my YouTube channel. So Ernie is a good friend of mine. I met 35 years ago, and he's been kind of a mentor. He carves with a hatchet. Now, he really didn't teach me technique. I was already carving since 10 years old. But Ernie was carving full-time. And from a young age, I dreamed about carving full-time. And that was after college. I realized, I could do it. I did other things like teach tennis. I taught art for many years. I was professor of art for 7 years. But Ernie carved full-time in this little workshop behind his house, and I was like, wow, that's really what I want to do. I love the subtractive process. I love making art. I love birds. I love just decoy carving, which I wanted to do when I was 10 years old. Actually, I was in an art class, and that's what I wanted to do. So Ernie kind of guided me at how to make a living, how to stay disciplined, keep quality up, what shows to go to. Being from the Chesapeake Bay, decoy carving has a very rich tradition. So this is a very classic style, and I don't like to copy these classic styles. You see a lot of copycats, people in decoy carving, because decoys are very valuable these days. They can go for $1 million, especially if there's an artist, decoy maker that didn't make much and the quality was really good. So they're very collectible, and I've invested in Ernie Mills' work because already my money has doubled in value. As my work has too over the years, because I've been doing it for so long. So I don't carve with a hatchet. I actually demonstrated another video, root head carving. This is my result of carving a heron from a root of a cedar, red cedar. And you can see that video and how I use the hatchet, but I have better success with draw knives. Ernie told me to use an old hatchet that I use for Boy Scouts. The steel's much better than new hatchets, and you can sharpen it nicely. And but I can't choke up on it and hold the hatchet really, that well. But I really enjoyed using the draw knives by Flex Cut Tools, and I demonstrate that in that video. But this is looking pretty good. People say this looks like a heron. So it's going to be a life-size heron. I just got to find a good body, or probably make a body. It's going to be interpretive, kind of like Ernie's style. So there are different styles of wood art, or just art in general. There's realism, there's naturalism, stylized works, more folk art. I am a trained artist, but I'm influenced by many different artists and styles. Especially the folk art by Ernie. Ernie is a generational carver, so you learn from other carvers and other decoy makers. So I like a little bit more stylized work in my interpretive work. So I'm less influenced by decoys and more just the natural world, seeing the natural wood coming through. I might leave some of this natural negative space, this void. Here, I find it interesting. I'll show you another piece to better show the concept. And then I'll show some other examples of realism and naturalism so you can better understand art in this art form. So some people, I showed this to my family and they didn't know what it was. And well, to me it looks like a heron, but it's got a twisted neck. It's just a really cool piece of wood. And this is I would call stylized. Stylized art it stylizes art. Now I can't explain the definitions here. It's been a while since I've taught art. I just make it. No, I can do it. It simplifies. Sometimes it exaggerates. It's kind of like abstract, but it's more for a cultural aesthetic. So that's stylization. You can see a lot of stylization from the Egyptians, how they stylized the work in the human form or animals. Same with African art. So American art, same thing. People stylize birds, and I'm influenced by this. Again, I'm more inspired by nature, but you can never get enough art history. So it's very important to see what's going around in the world. Speaking of which, before I get to other styles, we'll get back to these here real quick. And these I carved in a really pretty piece of pine heart. Now I did bandsaw the sides of it. Okay, so I had a blank, and that saved me a lot of time. And I've actually just been asked to teach a class on carving, on carving in general, but more of a decoy carving class. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, hands-on class, let me know. I'll look at future possibilities. Right now, it's just in the works. The idea's in the works. I kind of carved in a vacuum on this project. In other words, I had my own style. I wanted to do it a little bit different. This wood was really beautiful. It was pine heart. And I wanted to show some of the natural, beautiful wood. And
And I thought, well, I'm doing something really new, and you know, I painted these translucent layers. I thought, wow, you know, I'm understanding paints much more. I painted with oils for many years, and now I paint a lot more with just acrylics. I like combining both of them though, but these are just acrylic paints. And I picked certain colors like raw umber, burnt umber, raw sienna, paints that were translucent, some iron oxides, yellow oxide, and a little bit of black, a little bit of white. But I put them in very thin layers, and I showed that in other videos, as well as I talk about wash techniques, even airbrush techniques, and I have those available on my website. So I thought I was doing, again, something new, so I asked my friend Ernie. I call him up every so often, and just, you know, kind of get some advice, see how he's doing. And at 90 years old, it's incredible that, you know, he can still carve. He doesn't carve much now, but he's very sharp as a tack. That's what's amazing. He remembers all these stories, all the people, and it's great catching up with old timers and just friends in general. So Ernie says all this has been done many times. So, you know, that's why it's important to kind of know what's been done before you. And in the art world, I've studied art my whole life. I went to magnet school for the arts. I have an undergraduate degree, bachelor's degree in fine arts or studio arts, and a master's degree in fine arts as well, in concentration in sculpture. So, and teaching art for 7 years, as well as teaching art history, art appreciation, professional practices, sculpture, three-dimensional design. I mean, I've studied a lot of art, and I'm going to talk more about that because I am going to do some more art consultation as part of my business as well, not just teaching. Just like I've expanded doing public art and different types of sculptures. So anyway, I thought it was kind of funny that I was doing something new, and Ernie said, nope, it's been done many times. So let me show you the style that I normally do. Okay, this was also entered in a competition. This got second place. I'll show you the other piece that beat it here in a second. This is a more of a realistic style. This is a little piping plover. They're actually endangered. These are, there's long-billed and short-billed Dowitchers. These are kind of stylized. I'll try to show you these from different angles as well. I'm not sure if this will be in the view, in the viewfinder, in the picture frame, so I'll go back to where I started. And I'll just turn this one so you can see it. This one I had kind of fun. So this realistic style, I carved the bill, the details just a little bit more accurately. I made the feet rather than use just a dowel. I've undercut feathers, true decoy carving. There's no undercuts because these birds were hunted with many years ago. Now I don't make hunting decoys, but many artists do today. So this is more of a decorative style. All these are, but this is inspired by more decorative bird carving that started in the 60s and 70s, and that's what really inspired me in the 80s when I was 10 years old to actually late 70s. Gosh, I'm old now. to do this, you know, and I never stopped. So I've combined very soft feather wood burning of every little quill and barb, as well as stoning the undersides and various techniques. And I have those available in a video on my website as well. They're actually carving the bobwhite quail, but all the techniques you can use for any bird, and I'll talk about differences in those videos, how you can do that. I did use some transparent layers in the base. I had fun carving this black walnut. I love black walnut. This one's oak, this one's maple, and it has walnut and marble even on it too. Both of these are walnut dowels, natural finish bases. This is even figured oak, real cool piece of wood with a burl on it. Yeah, I just wanted a little color. I wanted a sense of the bird was at water. Shorebirds can be found, you know, all along the Atlantic flyway, Pacific flyway. In the fall, they migrate through Georgia. We get quite a bit of shorebirds that come through here, even just fields. It doesn't have to be a special spot. So I created this little pool of water just with translucent acrylics, so you can kind of see the grain coming through. It just adds some color to the piece, and I like it. So it got second, and I'll show you the one that won first, see what you think. Can't find the ribbon. Actually, yeah, this one won first place. It is a plover, another type of shorebird. So you see shorebirds on the beach various times of the year, and sometimes in the wintertime they will not have the same color they have in the summer. So there's winter plumage and summer plumage or spring plumage. So they vary. Now I had an accident with this bird, but it's a good testament to the strength of how I make the legs and feet of my birds. I make these out of metal, but I actually dropped it while photographing with its ribbon, just the other day. So you can see that it broke off there. So I gotta make a repair, but the bird was bent, and fortunately I reinforced the bills on my birds with metal and super glue, so it's super strong. And again, the bird's legs are made of metal, and they're all mounted together, glued in place. So I make my birds pretty sturdy. So even falling, you know, from about here to the floor, and I have oak floors, not carpet, and still I was lucky that this is all the damage it did. So I can fix that, and I do fix my work for clients because accidents do happen. So these works are very collectible, and actually all these works are for sale. But my shorebirds do very well in galleries and art shows. Speaking of which, one of the big news I have is that I've been asked to show at the Waterfell Festival in Easton, Maryland. And that is the largest show for decoy carving and this type of art in the whole country. Now I go to the Southeastern Wildlife Exposition in Charleston, South Carolina, and that's the largest wildlife art show. But the Waterfell Festival in Easton, Maryland celebrates the arrival of the geese and waterfowl migrating this in the fall, because we have ducks in the wintertime down south. So they will migrate through the Atlantic and stop at the Chesapeake Bay with thousands, millions of waterfowl. And it's a celebration of traditional decoy carving, wildlife art, and it's a nonprofit organization that raises money for conservation. That's the greatest reason why I want to do the show, just to give back and help wildlife. I believe in supporting this art and the main focus on wildlife conservation. Conservation for the lands, conservation for future generations. So very different than hunting. That's how decoys started for market. But again, it's celebrated American art form, like I was talking about earlier, and I think the show is a great opportunity. And then I'm headed back-to-back shows. Gosh, this is going to be right after the election here, so good luck here during the election or whatever happens. I know it's everyone's polarized. I don't talk about politics, religion, or really too much about other artists and life in general. So I go to another show after that, so I'll be going back-to-back shows in Thomasville, Georgia. That's the Plantation Wildlife Arts Festival. And that is a great show, another nonprofit show that raises money for the arts. And I'm all about the arts, because if it wasn't for art programs, I wouldn't have started this art, myself as a preteen. So I'm excited about those shows. That's my big news. I'll have more big news to share because I'm getting into different things. And again, doing this full time is exciting. I've got a big commission I'm working on. I had lots of big sculptures this year, including public sculptures that you can look at on my YouTube channel or my website, Wilson Wildlife Sculpture. So that's about all the examples I have to show you. Let me show you some close-ups of the work. And if you have questions, you can write them in the comments. I usually get back to people. And also you can check out my website for videos at Wilson Wildlife Sculpture for instructional videos. And also write in comments what you would like to see on this YouTube channel. So I'm open to comments and suggestions, how I can improve. I just appreciate your support, and thanks a lot for watching these videos and subscribe to my channel. So hope you have a great day. So here's stay tuned for examples. I'll get a little closer to the works here.